Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
These troops you see in front of you are Semigallian allied troops for our Russian army. The Semigallians lived in, or Samogitians, how I pronounce it, lived in Livonia and sort of northern Russian region, and they were being viciously conquered by the Livonian Order and the Swedes. This led to the Russians sending troops to aid the Semigallians, and so they are really part of the Russian army. But you can also use them as sort of any light cavalry from the Russian region, really. Semigallians carried primary weapon was a javelin. They were very, very accurate, and the Livonian knights wrote about how dangerous the javelins were. They could hit from horseback. They could hit a man at a decent range and do quite a bit of damage. So they really didn't like them. They rode very small ponies, which are perfectly suited for the terrain. It's all marsh and bog and woodland. It's horrible terrain to ride around in a massive shire horse. So these guys were a lot better suited for it. Shield-wise, the shields are from the Dark Age box. There's two of them are from the Viking box, and I've painted them in the sort of patterns that they used at the time. The actual cavalry are Mongolian, believe it or not, because they match the same kind of clothing that the Semigallians wore, and I just painted them in different colours and gave them Dark Age warrior arms. So quite a bit of converting, but worth it in the long run because we really needed some light cavalry for our Semigallian army. Questions?
So what countries did they come from?
Primarily Livonia, which is modern day Latvia. But they also, the modern border of Latvia is really where the dividing line came a lot later on. So you could find them in northern Russia and even up into Karelia. So you can use them for quite a lot of little battles around that region. You could even get away with using them for Wendish crusades. The Wends, you could use them for them. So they're pretty generic, but they're basically Livonians, so we're going to be able to use them in our campaigns anyway. The modern borders don't really match what the borders were at the time. You know, there are some countries where the border's been pretty much stable because it's along a river or something, and rivers don't move all that often. But up there it's mainly just trees, woods and hills, so there's not that many dividing lines. Next question?
Did they have any combat skills, like rather than just throwing javelins? Were they in hand-to-hand combat? Any skills in that?
From what we know, from what was written about the mounted troops used by the pagans in the area, their cavalry didn't get into combat. They were hit and run cavalry, so they didn't really like going into combat. But they could fight on foot when they had to. So one would assume they did actually carry axes and things for close combat, but would mainly, which is why I've given them axes. Each man carries an axe on his horse, but their primary weapon of combat is the javelin, which they throw at the enemy at range. So they wouldn't be able to last in actual combat against knights or sergeants. They wouldn't stand a chance. But for hit and run attacks, they're brilliant. Next question?
Did they have any armour?
No, didn't carry armour.
Also, they could move fast and not sink into bog.
It was all about just getting around really quickly. And the horses weren't very big, so unlike Crusaders who had huge horses. Some of the Saudis rode smaller horses, but generally they would have really heavy big horses that could carry the weight of a man with his armour and his weapons. And of course the horse had armour as well, so it's got a huge amount to carry, whereas these were much lighter. And also, of course, the region, it snows a lot in winter, So you need to be able to get around in winter, and having a very big laden horse is not the best thing to do because the horse gets cold.
Yeah. Which is why armies now moved in the winter.
Yeah.
They stay in one place.
Yeah, you need short legs for winter because otherwise you're losing huge amounts of. You can't put padding on your horse's legs, so you use. Same for humans. You use huge amounts of heat through your legs. Your legs are like one of your biggest heat loss areas. So the Crusader horses would freeze. Their legs would actually break. It was so cold. Next question?
That's it.
That's everything. Okay. So once again, it's a big conversion job, this. So if you want to make them yourself, the Mongolian box has most of the stuff you need, and if you've got Dark Age Warriors, actually everybody's got Dark Age Warriors at this point.
Yes.
Griffin Beast, Dark Age Warriors, you will have enough spare heads and shields and stuff knocking around in order to make these figures. Also, for the period, a lot of horses use the kite shield, the pointy shield. These were all the round shield because any depictions of them, they always got round shields. So I just went for them all in round shield. Whereas mostly I'd give a mixture. Probably because they were a light horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the end of the video.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the Semigallian cavalry, light cavalry.
Yep.
That's it from me.
And everything from him.
See ya.
Goodbye.